Washington.
This is Marty for here once again. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Marty for here once again, and I have a lot of videos to record today just because I know everything is late at this point and there's just been so much going on, but please forgive me. We're here today to talk about last night's Empire finale. Now, you know, Empire is one of those shows, it's gotten like a lukewarm response this particular season. The first half, people were kind of like, and this is a really long season too. I think this is like 20, well, I mean, I guess it's average, you know, primetime TV episodes, 18 to 20 episodes. But it just felt like it was going on forever. Probably because they took like, when did season 2 go to that mid-season finale? Like December, I think. And it didn't come back until the end of March, and we're just like, ugh. And so, but last night was the finale. It was an okay finale. It's still like the finales this season with, you know, Empire, even Scandal. It's almost like there should be more. It's like the finales were just like regular episodes, and I feel like there should be always just one more episode after that just to kind of tie everything in. But I guess you want to leave you off with something to come back next season, but still. But all in all, it was great. So we're going to sit here and talk about it. So Jamal, as we remember from last week, has just been shot. You know, he took the bullet for Lucius for reasons that I can't understand. Well, not that I can't understand, but the pettiness in me would not have been able to do, you know, such an act of bravery. And so he's wheeled in his wheelchair, and, you know, people are welcoming him home, and there's this beautiful black woman. That the girl who y'all remember from season 1 who sang that "What Is Love" song. Like, she is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And that girl can blow. Amazing. So Andre done got ordained to marry Hakeem, and Laura is her name. I got it right this time. And they just like, you know, I want you to sing at the wedding, and we're going to do a duet with this girl. I forget her name. Did they ever say her name? They probably said her name, but I didn't get it. But the nice, dark Nubian queen that was singing, they wanted to do a duet at the wedding. And Jamal's like, I ain't singing no more. He's like, I can kiss my ass. I'm not singing no more. Because I am sitting here in a wheelchair because of the tomfoolery that my parents have gotten into, and we have to do all this covering up, all this violence, all this other stuff, and he's just like, I'm not singing no more until we end this cycle. And Lucius and Cookie are like, what you mean you ain't? What is this crazy talk that you're talking? So they're just kind of like, oh, well, he's just sick, he's been traumatized, but he's never been shot before, he don't know what he's talking about. But you could tell that Jamal was pretty much serious. And more family matters, you got Miss Grandma Lucius, whatever you want to call her. They're all worried about Jamal, and she says that, you know, all of them have like a piece of their granddaddy in them, and they're like, what do you mean? And so we start seeing flashbacks of her husband. Did they say they were married, or did they just have children? I'm not sure if they specified that or not. But we see a clip of Lucius' daddy and him as a boy in a scene. I guess they're running through like a back alley of some sort, and I guess they're running with another cop. Their dad was the cop, and I guess they were fighting. They were going after some vigilante, and so the guy pulls a gun out on him, and then, you know, the flashback stops. So I'm like, okay. Usually when we get these flashbacks in Empire, they're going to show you a piece now, let some stuff happen, show you a piece later, tie them together, and then it'll make sense. So this is the first piece that we got in the puzzle. So next, because every scene in this particular finale didn't really play a vital role to the story, at least not to me. It was just kind of like fluff. So if we skip some things, it's because they probably weren't very important or exciting. But one of the gags of the episode was, here come Boo Boo Kitty, right? Walking into the office with Cookie and Lucius. She's like, Lucius, can I speak to you privately? Lucius was like, no, whatever you can say for me, you can say for the Cookie. Cookie's like, girl, sit your ass down. What's going on? So she mentions how she's been followed and they're trying to get her testify against Lucius, and they kept her asking her all these kind of questions about some guy named Shine Johnson, I believe is his name, and turns out Shine was somebody that Lucius used to do bad dealings with in the past, and I guess they're trying to, get to Lucius through her. So they're gonna try to offer, round the clock security for Boo Boo Kitty. So in comes Rhonda and Andre. And when I tell you, Rhonda exhibited, I want y'all to take notes. Rhonda exhibited the type of behavior where when you say there's no words like on site, like that is the definition of on site. Like if I'm gonna see you and I'm gonna whoop your ass on site. She didn't walk in, she didn't talk shit, she didn't greet anybody. She walked in, saw the bitch, and was like, boom. She did a swift uppercut on Boo Boo Kitty's lower jaw. And she was just like so distraught, like, oh my God, what are you doing? How could you do that? And she was like, I know you pushed me off the damn staircase, bitch. I know that was you. And she's like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. She's crazy. Like, oh my God. And so, Lucius is yelling like, what is you talking about? I don't believe you, this, that, and the fourth. And she tries to talk to Andre. And Andre is kind of like, look, I think she's, we're sorry that she's doing all this. And she's like, really? Really? You're going to be on their side? After that we went through when you knocked, what was that man's name? Vernon. After you cleaned his clock and he laid dead to the bed on the floor. Now you ain't gonna come. Oh, okay. All right. So she storms out. Mind you, let's pause. If y'all follow my Snapchat, which is in the bottom, by the way, I watched it. And I made a Snapchat and I watched Ashley's review of Empire, and I was looking on Twitter as it was happening. Everybody on my timeline when that part came on was talking about, damn, Andre's cakes were sitting firm and high as hell. Like you could bounce a penny off that shit in them tight ass pants. I was like, wow. It's perfect. Like, it's the perfect shape, size. It sticks out just enough. And it's just... I rewinded that scene way too many times for my own health. But I was just like, damn, it's just... This little... You got like a natural-born male Nicki Minaj going back there. Like, yeah. But anyways, that was just highly distracting. So... Cookie goes to see this Shine person that Boo Boo Kitty is, making this whole buzz about. And first of all, secondly, real quick, what was Cookie wearing? Cookie looked like she just skint the nearest lizard and put it on her body. But so she goes to Shine. Shine is living in some ghetto wherever. I don't even know what kind of house that would be. I don't know if that's considered the trap house or whatnot. But so she's trying to be like, what can we do so that, you ain't gonna cause us no more trouble. And he's like, well, I want to go to the wedding because I didn't get an invite. And I want you to put my nephew on with this song. And he starts playing the Cookie's eyes roll so far to the back of her head. She was just like, ugh. And as she was playing it, and he was vibing with it. He looked back at her to see if she was. She was like, oh yeah, mm-hmm. And he looked away. She was like, ugh. She was like, look, I'm not here to be doing A&R shit. I'm here to try to protect my family and handle some business. You bullshitting. Now, mind you, Laura's parents were not really too keen on this Shine person attending their wedding because she just sees him as an outright thug and just somebody whose past doesn't really reflect the type of characteristics of an attendee of their daughter's wedding, which, honestly, I couldn't blame them not one bit for thinking that, because if you don't want somebody who has that kind of background to be at your wedding because you don't know what they're going to do. But at the same time, Cookie and Lucius are there. And They are the king and the queen of that lifestyle. But I mean, I guess since they're the parents of the groom, you can't really deny them. I'm sure they're probably helping paying for it too. But either way it goes, they weren't really too keen on it, especially inviting this third person that they don't know. I guess they've had a chance to kind of get to know Cookie and Lucius at this point. So they was like, okay, well, we're gonna allow it. We're gonna see how this go. So as Cookie and Lucius are in like a meeting of some sort of empire, trying to discuss how they're gonna get this whole wedding situation together, Hakeem comes in. Is come quick, gets an emergency. Why is Boo Boo Kitty sitting on the ledge of the building talking about I don't want to testify against Lucius? I don't want to testify against Lucius. I'm confused because the last I checked, you were threatening Lucius with the tea that you had on him from your 5-year relationship, and now all of a sudden you don't want to testify against him. I missed something. I thought she would be jumping the gate to testify, but then again, I think she, had that meeting where she wants to call a truce or whatever and just wants to be normal and a part of the family, I guess. But I don't know. Something about that, I was just kind of like, what? What you doing, girl? What you doing? And so Cookie talked her off the ledge. You carrying my grandbaby, and this is your son, and you want to be a lion, you can be a lion. Just come with us. You family now. And she just falls back. I was like, for some reason, that seemed overly dramatic. She seemed like she was so overly dramatic. I don't know why. I mean, I know she's on the ledge, but it just seemed like she was very overly dramatic for no reason. But we get to this scene where Jamal is working with these singers and the trade producer on this new song that he wants to do at the wedding. Now, the only thing I really want to talk about here is that producer is fine as hell. I'm just looking like you are everything wrong with the quote unquote trade. Like you embody that whole essence of that masculine, dark skin, straight T type dude who's DL and probably ain't shit for real, but you still like him because he's fine. But you don't realize he's bad for you until you try to be with him for like a year or so, and he pulls like all those stunts and tricks, and now you sitting left heartbroken because he done cheated on you with all these other people that he's sleeping with, but at the same time still has a wife. That whole situation, I just see all that embodied in this producer. I'm serious. That's whenever I see him, that's what I think about. So I just thought that was funny. So next we get to this wedding, y'all. Now this was some true ethnic. Okay, let's go talk about it. So we see, the Nubian queen again is giving her vocals and she's slaying it as per usual. And we see Laura getting fit into her dress. She looks gorgeous. She's there with her parents. Everything is happy. Everybody's faces are beat. Everybody's waists are snatched. Everybody's edges are lined. And everything is just going good until Shine comes in with 3 thoughts, with tattoos up their cooch, tight dresses on, bitch, cellulite exposed, tracks exposed, gold teeth. I swear one of them had a gold tooth, and I'm just like, oh no, he is really, he is really about to sit here and push this whole negative stereotype. Okay, all right. So as they enter, everybody else is looking like, oh, this ain't gonna go down. This is not gonna work. We ain't gonna be here with this. So once they finally kind of get him under control, they getting everybody walking down the aisle, and some random waitress sneaks up and serves Boo Boo Kitty her papers and then dashes. So I'm thinking like, is there like a clause or a law that says if you physically get handed the papers, you're responsible to do the court date? Because I could be like, well, shit, I never got no papers. I don't know what she's talking about. So I'm thinking like, I don't know if there's how you would prove that somebody got served, but either way it goes, she dashed, and it looked like, I forget who it was that ran after her, But the Shine guy ended up punching it. I'm like, are they working together? I got confused. So Laura's trying to walk out in her gown, and she sees the girl dashing out. You see all these people punching and screaming, tables thrown over, chairs flipped, and she's just like, I can't do this. This is not the life that I wanted. This is not what I'm supposed to get. And I'm just like, look. But you know what? I can't even 100% blame her. I think I'm just having trouble blaming her because Hakeem is fine. But this is my special day, and y'all up in here turning this into Mortal Kombat? Now, I'm not going to say I would have just stopped the wedding. I just probably would have fussed and cussed and raised hell, but I still would have got my vows exchanged. Because I done paid all this money. I done sucked and tucked to get into this dress. I done got my face done and my hair done. Oh, we getting married today. But that would have just been me. But, she just felt so distraught. And, of course, at this time, Hakeem's over it. He's looking back at all this mess and this chaos that his family done caused, and he's over it. And I'm just like, well, he's probably starting to see what Jamal was saying because now it's affecting his life. So I'm like, I hope that him and Jamal next season don't go on like this anti-family thing. They kind of been doing it sprinkled throughout the season already, but I hope they're not just saying, oh, fuck this shit at the end of this. So after this is where everything gets good and everything ties in. So after that whole mayhem, Cookie and Lucius and Kitty are all walking out to see what they can do. Okay, she's got surface papers. What can we do? How can we stop this? What can we do at this point? And he turns to Thirsty, the lawyer, and it's like, look, wait, isn't it possible that if Anika and I were married, she wouldn't be forced to testify against me? And at the time that they're talking back and forth, like, okay, well, we just need to get married. Cookie's like, what the fuck? Hello? Wait a minute. Wait, what you talking about now? Because look, she said I did not save this bitch's life for her to ruin mine. So you could tell that she was kind of legitimately pissed, even though it's not like a real marriage, like they're in love. They're just doing this so that they can't get testified against. Cookie still wasn't with it. She couldn't put her pettiness aside and do it. She was like, I love y'all. I would do anything for my family, but I'm not doing this right here. Nope. And she she stormed off crying. So it was like, oh, Lord. So now you had Lucius and Anika at the damn altar looking awkward as hell. And, they did the exchange. Everybody else in the audience looks over it, and they're just, like, miserable. And just the whole scene is just depressing. And so they said, you may now kiss the bride. Lucius gave her a church cheek kiss. And then as they walk him, he's like, he goes up to her, pulls up as they're walking down the aisle, and he whispered in her ear. She was like, I know you pushed her. And I think her heart went up her throat and back down through her ass because she was like, excuse me. And she went off to the rooftop because she's like, everybody's figuring me out. Now, was there ever really any doubt? I saw Ashley's video. Some of her commenters or subscribers were saying that they try to think that it wouldn't be Anika. I can say I thought about it for a time or two just because it was obvious. But then I'm like, well, maybe that's the thing, is to think that it's obvious, but it's really not, and it's somebody else. But it didn't really make sense to be anybody else, honestly. So, once again, we see Rhonda the Renegade Warrior. And so Anika's all out, on the cliff. Well, not the cliff, but, the balcony or whatever of this building, looking over. And we just see somebody open up the door. I thought it was going to be, what you call him? Well, I can't call the boy's name. Andre. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. I done skipped a whole shit. A whole main plot twist. So, after they get married and Anika's gone off somewhere, we run into the FBI agent. And remember when I told you we was going to get flashbacks? So he's talking, Herman and Lucius are having their little, banter or whatnot. And then here come Grandma talking about some, Dwight, why are you talking to your half brother like that? I'm like, really? What? Seriously? Okay. All right. So we get the flashback of, I guess, whoever that guy. They weren't really clear on who that guy was that was holding the gun. And I guess Lucius' daddy and him were having a fight about whose son, I guess the FBI agent was at the time. And he was like, that's your son. He was like, no, that's your son. And both of your sons are going to have to grow up without a daddy. Boom. Shot him in the head. And, okay. I guess that's going to be next season. It's going to be them brother versus brother. And I'm just like, oh, God. So after they had their little exchange, that's when he sent Andre out to go find Boo Boo Kitty. And this is where we get back to where we were before. Kitty is on the roof, and we see somebody open the door. And I think it is Andre. Man, it is Rhonda. Rhonda is dressed up like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. She grabs her, and she was like, you wanted to be the only one that was pregnant with the lion heir, didn't you, bitch? Didn't you? Answer the question. And she was like, you goddamn right. And finally admitted. I was just like, you know what? You could just did that from the beginning. But she had to at least put on the front. She was like, look, I wanted to be the only heir. And plus, she was just a petty Betty at the time. I think she was really just hurt because Lucius left him. Haki wasn't fucking with her no more. So they tussling. They going back and forth. And Andre comes in and they're like both hanging over the ledge. And Andre comes in and he yells, no! And we just hear somebody falling and screaming. I think they both fell. And it seems to be the common consensus that they think that both people fell. I mean, if they did, I wouldn't miss Rhonda just because it took me up until all the way now to even remember her name. But I respected her for her gangster this episode, though. Like that run up, get done up on sight. I respect her for that. Boo Boo Kitty she's crazy. She's a beautiful woman, but she's just crazy. She just comes off as unstable as hell to me. So, I mean, if they die, it would be sad because Andre would fall into who knows what kind of depression. Again, he already lost his baby. I can only imagine what it would be like if he lost his wife too. Then, if Anika dies, they just lost his nephew, their grandson, their son. Like, it would just be a mess. It would really just be a mess. But apparently somebody fell off that ledge from the way that there was like a scream and a descendant, like somebody was falling. We just gonna have to see, baby. I hope it's not just Rhonda and the Boo Boo Kitty gets to live. If Boo Boo Kitty has to either die with her or by herself. Don't let Rhonda just die on her own, because that would be fucked up. That would really be bad. She lost her baby and then her own life. I ain't with that. I ain't gonna be with that, Lee Daniels. But that was this finale of this season's Empire. Apparently it will be coming back in September, so I'll be looking forward to that. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the Empire finale, and I'll be responding to you guys in the comments. So, yep, I'll see you guys next time for RuPaul's Drag Race finale review. Bye-bye, guys. See you later.
Like, share, subscribe.
Washington.